Hi, good afternoon from Córdoba. I'm going to share my screen so we can see our presentation. Can you see that? Well, yes, it seems it's fine, right? Well, first, first of all, greet everybody that it has joined here in this third roundtable of the uh, guide route. Michael and Leticia that have encouraged me to come here and to present to you, and I just do that in behalf of the cities of the regional of Southern Europe and Mediterranean. We are 31 cities in 11 countries, and we have been working in different projects for 11 years. And just talking to the General Secretariat, we have chosen this theme of trades and technique, traditional techniques for heritage conservation. So the current situation face is that we are facing challenges that we have in the heritage cities. We face most of the same problems at some point. We need to preserve the knowledge and the traditional technique in the monuments, in buildings. Part of the equipment of those buildings have to be restored. And in a lot of times, these restoration techniques or the master artisans are being lost. And most of the cases, they are passing without leaving apprentices with their techniques. And so their artistic manifestations like wood or stone or metal. And so during our work, so what we intend is to preserve the material heritage and that wisdom that is being lost so we can train new professionals and new operatives for conservation and restoration of our heritage. From the Secretariat, we sent a survey to get to know the current situation in our cities. So we have received 13 responses from the cities, so we can have a very good idea of the situation. And so we did ask several questions to the cities regarding the trade issues. What would be the main problem that your city is facing relating the restoration, heritage restoration trades? So most of the answers have been regarding that trades are being lost. Some Another response was that costs are very high because the export and the material is a very hard and detailed job. So evidently that makes it costly. And then another issue we found that there's no local specialists. There are some, but very few in very specific cities. So we have to look for professional or experts or master artisans from outside our city to solve particular conservation problems of the monuments. And we have also asked about the issue of training. And so we asked if there were universities or subjects or majors talking about conservation. And so most of them are talking about having workshop schools or professional training, some of them of the university, but a third of them don't don't have any kind of training in the issue of trades, which is very serious because if there's a city that there's no training center, they will lose their know-how to continue with the maintenance of our heritage. And so about the amount or the quantity that work with different materials, We have asked for stones or for wood carving or steel and forging, the cleaning of graffiti, which we are very interested in because it's a damage into a important heritage element. And it's the ones that restore paintings and frescoes or the glass, stained glass, or documents and files, or also the calligraphy and walls and we different things. We have seen a response that the main material that is worked on is stone and steel and forging, and also graffiti cleaning in first place. And maybe with less number of example, restoration of stained glass and documents and files. So we are assessing how the situation is like and where can we take action. From all of these professions, we asked them of also in which professions did they have people in their local governments. Most of them are specialized companies for cleaning graffiti, but very few. But most of them are outside. So we would also like to work in this aspect. We have worked on this project a long time ago. So the first attempt was in 2015 in the World Congress in Oaxaca, World Conference, was a project that was approved that was called Artisans and Visual Contamination or Pollution. So we we wanted to take out all of these things that are hanging out, are the businesses in historic downtown. Also in 2019, the Évora city was managing this project that was called Arts and Trades because it was a proposal from Lyon city, and we incorporated these professionals who preserve and restore heritage. We have a website to for who those who are interested. We are incorporated in this website so we can exchange information and move forward in this issue of this field of restoration. We have this beautiful logo that it's a hand that is working on clay, but it has different tones because it has to do with different materials such as clay or steel, and it's also like a flame, and it has to do with steel and forging. And so after those projects from it has been almost 8 years. During last year, we have started to work on good practices for trade. So an example here is some cities, such as local government of Angra do Heroísmo, was to valorize the management of municipal local monuments, and they are having works done for conservation and restoration of statues in public spaces, and they are having very good results. Also, the city of Évora, which the local government created this agency of conservation and restoration of the local cultural heritage, especially of paintings on canvas and hydraulic heritage. And we are going to take them as an example of good practices. Also in the city of Oporto, they created a service which is called Material Bank, which is targeted to safeguard the materials of construction and ornamentation of the buildings of Oporto in Portugal. We have other examples like in Segovia that there's a proposal that has been enhanced for training of covering walls, and also esgrafiado or esgrafite, which is very typical in Córdoba and Segovia. Also in Córdoba, there has been implemented actions of restoring of the Roman temple, of restoring paintings in our museum. We are moving forward little by little in conservation of our heritage. So the priority theme that we chose was the traditional traits and techniques for conservation of the heritage, and it is around strategic axis number one of the guide from Quebec. It's about valuing and preserving traits and professions that intervene restoration and recovery of material or non-tangible heritage. And this is what we intend in the regional secretariat to intervene in, also in the material heritage as a first step, and also intangible in the future. So to maintain and restore and rehabilitate the heritage of our city, we need to turn to professionals that know their profession and that have the correct competencies to do it. Not every professional can take action over a material over material heritage. So we do want to enhance the participation of artisans, but also professionals with scientific knowledge, so that to participate, because these master artisans are disappearing, generations that are being lost little by little. So we need to try to reactivate them in some way. There are few training centers. Each time we're losing more at training, and also the artisanal techniques are being lost, and we are being implementing mechanical production versus artisan production. And just as the end of our journey in our here, we are proposing a main issues here that we are going to work on from the regional secretariat, from the south of Europe and Mediterranean. We are the pilot, but of course we are inviting every city that is interested, because they have the same issues. So we are going to try to create an inventory of professionals that restore heritage, locals or external, in each city, so we can see the reality of what we have in our cities, to elaborate on an inventory of training centers that offer these traits, maybe even contact them with them, and maybe even suggest curricula or that training that could be necessary for the heritage of our country, create a database with expertise and traits that are looked for by the cities, and expertise and traits that are offered by the cities. And so, of course, we can participate in the program of our organization, city to city. So maybe the organization can, a city can offer masters in a trade, and then other cities can send young people to that city to train, and maybe, yes, promote the establishment of scholarships for training of young people for trade in the most relevant cities. This is the end of our presentation. So we have a workshop at the beginning of July in Munster about trades that restore this heritage. And let's hope that this collaborative network that is starting, that is successful, that for you to join us in our project, and the cities and the continent that you want, that are interested in working in this theme. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for the interpreters for your work. And I wish to encounter you in the next encounters we have, and also in the World Conference in September in Cordoba. So thank you very much. Without further ado.